remember what exactly she said, but on numerous instances would comment on different ways in which I might not be quite qualified to be president. Of course, I disagree with hell like her on that being a criteria to be the U.S. president is her description of whether or not you're an Indian, because her view is that in order to actually be a U.S. president, you got to be even more American, right? So you're not fully American if your parents weren't from the United States of America.
If you were to say of the voters bloc, what percentage of the voter bloc agrees with her?
During a recent appearance on the PBD podcast, former Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy reflected on his discussion with Ann Coulter, in which Ann Coulter made clear that while she favored him in the field of Republican candidates, said that he was brilliant, articulate, all of that, she just couldn't get herself to vote for him because of one reason. And if you didn't catch that moment, or if you need a refresher, here it is.
Okay, before we get that refresher from Ana Kasparian on the Young Turks, the theme of this one to me is going to be about the difference between how the populist right handles racial issues and the populist left. Young Turks going in on Ann Coulter and Vivek Ramaswamy. And the reason that she's going in on Ann Coulter from the Young Turks studio with Waz in the studio is because Ann Coulter has a preference that Anna disagrees with. If you want to disagree with her preference, disagree with it, but she's perfectly legit to have her preference. And here we go. Ana Kasparian about to play the clip that went viral from Ann Coulter.
You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American Black. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president, but I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian.
Waz, as an American Black, how do you feel of Ann Coulter's statements there?
You know, it's fun. Okay. So you're fine with being called a Black American, but not an American Black? Is that really where you are on the left right now? This is Ana Kasparian. They're just so awkward with the race. Well, why don't you just resign from your position, Anna? You're not Black. So if you support Blacks in positions of power or whatever reason you have this weird kind of aversion to frank discussion about race, just resign and go find something else to do. Prop up a Black woman or a Black man or whatever. You realize these people on the left, they believe you can socially identify as Black. So Black doesn't even have to do with skin color. Steph Curry's Black. Kamala Harris is at most 12% Black, probably less than that. They call her a Black woman. Let's get back to the clip from the Young Turks.
Because that is one of the stereotypical things, particularly amongst educated Black people, that they feel like they're almost being derisively patted on the head whenever a white person calls them articulate. That is a legitimate thing that people get upset about. That Black people get upset about. It's why are they calling me articulate? That's a real thing. That Ann Coulter feels so annoyed by it herself. Oh, I don't even get to call smart people smart. It's just speaks to her own sort of racial psychosis. It's kind of funny.
Waz is usually better than this. So Waz knows it's kind of weird for someone to know that there is this standard of if a white person calls a Black person articulate, that many Black people get ashamed. So Ann Coulter acknowledges what you just acknowledged and you criticize her for it? Can you explain to me how that makes any sense at all?
She's insane. And who refers to people that way? Anyway, okay. So there was the statement, un-American Black. I just find that so weird and crass. But also telling someone to their face, I really liked you out of the Republican candidates in the primary. I think you're brilliant, but you're Indian, even though you were born in Ohio.
Yeah, it's a racism, right? It's a racism from a Dave Chappelle skit, basically, where this lady's saying you have all of the qualifications, you seem like an incredible candidate, but literally because your parents are from a place that's not America, I can't vote for you. Mind you, nobody's actually from America. That's the thing, outside of Native Americans or indigenous people, nobody's actually from here. So making that case it's obviously racist, but it's also very stupid.
Well, okay, you can say that, and I would agree with some of that because that's not substantive enough for me But don't act like this isn't part of the concern, the way that our founding fathers set this up. See, Ana Kasparian and the left and Waz here, they have no respect for the greatness of this country that was started by young white men. And they could never say that. They would be concerned by that statement. But there's a reason why. And yes, I agree. Everybody came here, so everybody's basically from somewhere else. But there's a reason why, if you want to be in the House of Representatives, you have to be a U.S. citizen for at least 7 years. If you want to be a senator, you have to be a U.S. citizen for 9 years. Why is that? Do you disagree with that, Anna? A president must be a natural-born citizen. So Anna's taking it a step further, but don't act like her concerns are so illegitimate that she has to be made fun of like she's some idiot. Why don't you guys have her on the show? I've seen a couple of her debates. She kind of wrecks people because she's pretty smart. She's pretty based. Let's get back to the clip here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree that it's very stupid. The other thing that I have to confess I wasn't really fully aware of is that I don't know what percentage of Americans feel the way that she feels, but apparently there is I guess a feeling that even if you were born in the United States, if your parents were immigrants, including legal immigrants, right? If your parents are legal immigrants, they weren't born, in this country, but they came here and you were born in this country, you're still not American enough for people like Ann Coulter. So apparently you have to be like, 20th generation or something to qualify as an American. And as a child of immigrants myself, who was born in Hollywood, California, I'd like to tell her to F off. Okay? Like, telling me as an American that I'm not American enough disgusts me. I love this country. And I think loving this country means loving what it means to be American. American means all different backgrounds coming together, right? Like, she's disgusting. I don't mean to get derailed by re-entering a conversation about her.
Yeah, you know what? My parents are immigrants too, Anna, and I have a different perspective than you. And you acting like your perspective is the only right one for even children, first generation, second generation, here is part of the reason why Ann Coulter has the concern. Part of the reason Ann Coulter has the concern is basically your whole 4-minute clip here. You don't respect her wishes and you basically call her a racist. And she didn't say anything about Vivek that was like, she didn't even make the jokes that I make about the Apu jokes or whatever you want to go. She didn't even do any of that. What did she say? She just would prefer a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant male. Okay, I have no problem with that. Just like you prefer blacks for, as long as the camera and the mic is on, you prefer a black for damn near anything, right? Just like Joe Biden said, I'm going to pick a black woman to run for VP. And now we just heard today that Joe Biden said, well, I kind of wish I didn't drop out. He didn't say this part, but it applies because that black woman lost and I think I would have won, allegedly, via the Washington Post. How about Joe Biden saying, I'm going to pick a black woman? But Ann Coulter can't say, I prefer a white Christian male. Come on, get out of here. For left, handle your business. Get in the comments of After Show Carnage and let me know what's going on right now.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.